A moment of silence for those who have lost their lives, and then we'll start. Thank you. The main project that I've been working on for the last couple of years, or at least presenting the last couple of years, is Resonance Dissonance, which is my debut album. And this is a work that's kind of about a personal experience over the years, 7 years between 2003 and 2010, to do with understanding oneself a little bit and using Iraq as a kind of symbolically, musically, to kind of express something about the relationship with that country. The oud basically opened many doors for me. Like all the dreams I had, all of the hopes, the aspirations, the ideas that I wanted to try and make a reality, all came thanks to that instrument. 10 years ago, everybody here in London knew me as a drummer, and a very hard-hitting drummer that played in really heavy bands. I got to a point where I just realized that's not for me. I'd rather play one note very gently and then have a few little moments of seconds of silence after it, rather than going up on stage and just being really cathartic about things. I think I present myself as an oud player now because that kind of became my identity very quickly without me realizing it. I'm not schizophrenic out of choice, I don't think. Dennis, can I have just a little bit of reverb on it, please? Something quite long, but low level. Resonance Dissonance was a kind of subconscious outpouring, so I don't really feel like it was me. In a weekend, almost all of the pieces just kind of came out. Iraq's always there, actually, and, no matter what, it's always there because you can't. It's a part of your shadow, basically. And what I realized, I mean, I went through a very long period where I totally ignored it and had nothing to do with it whatsoever. And then I went through a period of total immersion as well, and both of those have very negative things. So for me, it's not so much an idea of reconnecting with one's roots. It's more about it's a balance. I wanted to get really immersed in music, but I didn't want to go and study classical music. I didn't want to go and do jazz. I didn't want to do drum tech.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't really any other options. And then, because I was listening to loads of Indian music at the time, particularly that Ravi Shankar and Yehudi Menuhin record.
Oh yeah, I
really loved that album. And I just thought, this is what I really want to learn, actually, because it gives you an understanding of another musical system which is really something else.
Yes.
And you just get to learn like how to play. You know what I mean? And then aside from like all of the other more personal stuff to do with Iraq and not Iraq and the Arab world and everything else, it all kind of came together. And the oud was a perfect instrument for. Because I was really into, and still am actually, had anything to do with like mysticism and Gnosticism and things like that.
Yeah.
And the oud has loads of those kinds of things attached to it as well.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I mean, like historically speaking, people always gave it this kind of status. What I really like about the oud is the resonance of the instrument. It's a particular detail that I look for, and it's a detail that I try to make more obvious because I think the attention to detail of the sound of Middle Eastern instruments hasn't really been focused on that much, and it's something that I'd like to explore a little bit more. Specific oud compositions didn't really start to happen until the 1930s with Sharif Muhyiddin Haidar, who was the founder of the Conservatoire of Music in Baghdad. He taught the major Iraqi oud players, Jamil Bashir, Munir Bashir, Salman Shukur, Ghanem Haddad, and they were the ones that helped kind of cement this idea of an Iraqi oud school, an Iraqi style of playing the oud. Sharif Muhyiddin Haidar was of Turkish origin, so he played the oud in a very Turkish style, and with Iraq being an Arab country, the Arab style of oud playing was already there, and that mix between the two, plus his particular developments, especially his relationship with Western classical music, is what gave the Iraqi oud school its kind of distinctness. None of my work relies on that material directly. It's all original compositions that aren't really based on any of the traditional rhythms or structures, apart from one piece on resonance dissonance, which is based on an Iraqi maqam called Khyam Allami. And in that piece, I guess I follow a kind of traditional way of developing that maqam, but then it goes into another direction, which is why it doesn't have the maqam as a title per se. It's not just an instrument, you're talking about the musical tradition. It's so linked to the history of Arabic music and the musical traditions of the Arab world as a whole, and the theory system behind it, that it's very difficult to find in any particular book or manual or recording. So you need a research-based process and the human lessons and interactions to be able to learn.
Khyam's music, the oud is the compositions are written in the key of C, so I have to tune in the same way. Now, how to play with the oud? This is a question of knowing the repertoire, having the creativity and the openness to hear the music and try to respond in a way that I think is appropriate. which is like all music making is. You have some knowledge and you apply it to what's happening in the moment. No?
I'm pleased that me and Vasilis have managed to get to a certain level of professionalism with this particular show. It's well oiled. It's been a year and a half of doing it. So sound checks and feeling and everything is very easy. You just get there, you do your thing, and then you get up on stage and you're ready to play. So you don't have any distractions beforehand, there's no stress beforehand. And this is really wonderful, it's really comfortable. I love playing with Vasilis, he knows the work inside out. We still manage to find little moments where we can play with each other and trick each other into little things and accent certain things, which makes it fun on stage. Yesterday we had a really good time, and it was one of our best performances actually, I think. And the crowd was amazing. It's always lovely to play to a full place, and especially because there was all this like full-on party music before we went on stage, so I had to really find a way of bringing down the tempo and the atmosphere and calming things down to prepare it for what we were going to do, because it's quite different. So it was good, people were attentive and listened, they weren't just talking at the bar the whole time. And yeah, it was a shame. I would have liked to play the whole album actually. It's a shame we had to do only just the first half or 2/3. It's pleasing. Once I get to Damascus and Baghdad, once I get to play a couple of shows in those two cities, I think I feel much better. Really. Then it's Japan and Brazil. We have to try and get to those two.